trans-identified male shoots up a church full of children in Minneapolis. He posted an entire manifesto online and had messaging on his gun, yet media is still questioning his motive. A young Scottish girl goes viral for brandishing an axe and a knife, and a Victorian sovereign citizen shoots at police, killing 2, sparking up another conversation in Australia around gun control. Let's get into it. Alright, so bit of a somber episode today. These stories aren't great, but we have to talk about them. So first up, we have a trans-identified male shot at a church full of children in Minneapolis. Absolutely tragic. I mean, anything involving the loss of life, especially the loss of children's lives, is horrendous. However, this story does highlight a growing pattern that we're seeing amongst trans-identified youth, and it's not a good one. Now, in case anyone has any doubts whether the shooter did identify as trans, it's been reported from numerous outlets that he stated he was tired of being trans, and he was contemplating cutting his hair, but he didn't want to, quote-unquote, give in. He also wrote, "Where's your God?" on the gun, F Donald Trump, amongst other ramblings. And the fact that the media is still questioning this bloke's motive is insane. He shot up a church full of children because he's been told for years, probably, that Christians are the enemy, Christianity is the enemy, and this is what happens when you affirm mental illness and delusion. This bloke wasn't of sound mind, okay? He thought he was a woman to start off with, which, you know, that's kind of default mental illness. He was affirmed as a minor. His mum signed documents to change his name as a minor. He was on cross-sex hormones. He wasn't well. He even drew a picture of himself in his manifesto resembling, I don't know, Baphomet, some kind of demon. It's just really dark stuff. I've got to say, now being a mother myself, these kind of stories hit tenfold. My heart goes out to all of the parents that are involved in this story. I cannot imagine the pain they would be going through. But again, this needs to spark a conversation about mental health, specifically trans ideology, gender ideology, these anti-human ideologies, the psychiatrists making money off this, the politicians lobbying for it, like all of it is just, it needs to stop because we're creating monsters like this. And to the absolute idiots that are trying so desperately to paint this as a right-wing nationalist. I don't know many right-wingers that are Robert but identify as Robert. Like, it's not right-wing. This page has about 10 million followers, I think, and they're posting stuff like this. And then we have people that come out of the woodwork, as always, and say, you know, just because the person was trans doesn't mean that all trans people... Alright, we get it. A lot of other people do commit these kinds of atrocities, but there's an undeniable link between this ideology and this behaviour. And it's because when these people are told for years that the world is against them, everyone's against them, what do you think is going to happen? What this young man needed and what all young trans-identified people need is support and guidance and truth. They don't need to be affirmed. They don't need to be put on dangerous hormones that permanently alter their brain chemistry. And they certainly don't need to be owning firearms. So yeah, really, really horrible story all around. Preventable, maybe. Tragic, nonetheless. Alright, so next up we have this video that has gone absolutely viral over the past week. And before we get into it, I'll just show it to you.
You don't dare!
Yes, you have a knife.
You don't! Hey, I'm fucking perfect! You're fucking bad and
Why are you fucking with us?
These are fucking kid bashers!
Show the knife. Show the knife.
Get
Show
the
the knife.
fuck away from us!
Show the knife. Show the knife.
Don't touch it!
That's
Touch
it,
me,
that's
do
it.
whatever you
Show
want
the
to
knife.
do. Get my little sister!
Show the knife. That's it.
Don't fucking touch my little sister! She ain't fucking 12! Where's her fucking touching me? She is fucking 12 and you just battered me, mate! Where's my fucking touching me?
Yeah, show the knife. Maracha.
Don't touch her gun to me! Don't touch her!
Okay, so, as I said, this has gone absolutely viral over the past week. I've seen countless memes depicting this little girl as some kind of Braveheart figure. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I do side with her because of a few things. So, what do we have in this video? We have 2 very, very young, I'm going to assume working class girls who, A, feel the need to carry weapons with them. So what does that say? It says the area that they live in isn't exactly safe. 2, we have an adult male filming them. So just as a surface level, we've got an adult male who's filming these two young girls. They are, I get quite obviously scared and arcing up. So something's happened off camera that we haven't seen. And the discourse around this video has been wild, to say the least. We have people that are blaming the girls for whatever's gone on. We have people blaming the bloke. And the end result of this was the girl was arrested. Which, I mean, look, I grew up in Western Sydney. I've lived in Western Sydney my entire life. I went to school in Western Sydney and I went to high school in a really rough area. I used to carry a knife in my bag. Okay? Never really got into any trouble myself, but it was a better safe than sorry thing. Granted, it wasn't an axe like this girl's carrying, but I can sympathise with the I need to carry something to protect myself mindset. And just to tie into that, I have seen a lot of nasty comments towards these girls, calling them chavs and trash and things like that, which, I mean, we look at what happened, I guess, in Rotherham with all those grooming gangs and how no one believed the victim because they were working class girls. Kind of feels like the same thing with this, because people are coming out and saying that these girls purposely targeted this man. They were, you know, trying to start an issue with this man and his wife. I don't know, who knows? None of us were there. However, this man's Instagram posts, he does look like a bit of a type, doesn't he? But I think what this video and its virality represent more is obviously the UK seems fed up with these kinds of interactions and these kinds of stories. So, as I said before, we have an adult male who's filming young girls. Regardless of the reason, that's not a good look. And that's going to get people riled up, especially given what's come out of the UK over the past year. The horrific crimes that have been committed against young, white, working class girls. And to see one stand up for herself in this kind of way, it doesn't surprise me that people have rallied behind her. And I just think it's a really sad indictment of where certain countries are at. Because if you can't protect your women and you can't protect your children and young girls are having to carry axes around in their day-to-day life just to feel protected, then something's wrong. Something's wrong. So this story we have coming out of Australia a few days ago was very interesting. From what I can gather online, police were told to execute a warrant at a property over, I think I've already seen conflicting things. First it was child SA offences, and then I saw another report that said firearms offence. Who really knows? Point being, the police turned up on this man's property. He shot and killed 2 police officers and then took his family with him and fled. He's been described as a sovereign citizen. Now, I've heard of this term before. I've seen it float around. Bit of a contrasting term, considering being sovereign is, you know, being your own person, and then being a citizen is, you know, being a law-abiding citizen. I don't really know how you can be both. But anyway, what I do want to focus on with this story is, I guess, the timing of it. And again, I don't want to take away anything from the 2 Victorian police officers who lost their life. I think it's absolute tragedy. You know, you go to work and you expect to come home from work that day. So our media in Australia is ramping up this narrative about sovereign citizens, freedom movement, patriotism, trying to link all of these things together. Coincidentally, I feel in time for Sunday's march, the March for Australia. I didn't watch it, but I was scrolling YouTube the other day and I saw that ABC Four Corners had a special investigation into these sovereign citizens and how much of a threat to Australia's democracy they are, because they feel the government is illegitimate, I believe is what was said in the first 30 seconds of the video that I watched. It was very like, oogly boogly, these people are, you know, so scary. But are they? Or are they just people that just want to be left alone by the government? What I did find very interesting, though, is what Rukshan posted here. Apparently he received correspondence from a close friend of the fellow who did the shooting, and how it says that he is a Christian, he wanted to homeschool his kids, he didn't want to vaccinate his kids, he's been targeted relentlessly over the years by the police. He just snapped, which, it seems plausible. I don't know the truth. I'm just going by different things that I've read online. But it is a very interesting story. And it's a very interestingly timed story. And of course, our politicians and our media can't let a good tragedy go to waste. There's already been talks of further gun control and restriction in Australia, even though we have really, really tough gun restriction laws in this country. And I do believe that the gun that this man used was homemade, so I don't think it would have had a difference anyway. Gun laws ain't going to do shit. You know, if people want to hurt people, people are going to figure out a way to do that regardless. We see that in Melbourne. We see that in Victoria already with the machetes. And lucky last, I guess I got to finish on a high note. I got to finish on something positive. So here's a video of absolute legend, Bob Catter, telling the media where to go.
You've got Lebanese heritage yourself. What would you
Oh, mate, don't say that, because that irritates me, and I punch blokes in the mouth for saying that. Don't you dare say that. My family have been in this country for 140 years, right? So and if you say anything like that, I have, on many occasions, punched blokes in the mouth, right? So I'm restraining myself today. I'm an Australian. My family have been here since the dawn of time. That's the end of it. Don't say that.
I'm sure that you said
Don't
it.
say that,
sure you said
because
it,
you're a racist. I want their names, because we have had a tradition of toleration. These people are not tolerating us. So you won't tolerate us, we want you out of this country, right? Because this country is fed up with your, oh, we must be nice to everybody. Well, I'm not particularly nice to people that crossed the border, invaded another country and murdered over 1,200 people.
He's great. He's awesome. If you were to get a dictionary and look up the definition of Australian, that's it right there. Yeah, my daughter agrees. And it was a pathetic gotcha attempt by the Channel 9 news reporter to point out Bob's Lebanese heritage, because we all know that the migration of yonder, where we're talking the Greeks, the Italians, when they came over after World War II, that's not what we're seeing now. And naturally, Bob's being attacked by absolutely everyone, including our own Prime Minister, fucking Anthony Albanese, for being un-Australian. He put this on his Instagram story, not backing down, rightly so. And yeah, I stand with Bob. Anyway, that's it from me this week, guys. To anyone who is going to the March for Australia on Sunday, please, please, please be safe. Keep your eyes peeled for agitators, because no doubt there will be. Don't give in. Don't be violent. Bring your flags, bring your family, and march. And be proud, because this country is amazing and it is worth fighting for. Take care.